Why deals don't close even when prospects give verbal commitments. Hey there, I'm Michelle Terpstra, and this is another Ask a CRO, and I'm here to break down ghosting. We've all had it happen. We have a wonderful call with somebody. They say, yes, I'm in. I'll sign all the paperwork. I'll make payment this week. Like, here we go. I'm so excited, right? And the thing is, every once in a while, those people start ghosting you or they don't follow through on their promises. And after having thousands of calls, reviewing hundreds, I can tell you why this happens. So before I jump into the why, make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. It's how we know that the content we're creating here is useful and helps you. And if you'd like, even share it with a friend. Okay, so why does this happen? Well, first of all, there's different types of buyer personas. And this is really important for you to understand because there's different types of personalities that will either just straight up tell you, no, I'm not going to do this. Some of them are going to give you maybes. Some of them are going to say yes when they're not actually all the way bought in. And that's the actual person we're going to talk about right now. Now, who does this apply to? So if you sell professional services, if you sell a coaching program, if you sell software, if you sell SaaS products, this strategy will help you. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into what this looks like. Alrighty, so there's something called an analytical buyer. Analytical buyers need a few things to be completely bought into purchasing from a business, okay? The first thing, of course, because they're analytical, is that they want the data. But the thing is depending on who is selling to the analytical buyer, you may gain what I call false buy-in. Now, what is false buy-in? It is when a dominant type A visionary salesperson is on the other end with an analytical buyer. If rapport is built and trust is built and know, like, and trust is actually happening during the sales conversation, it's actually really difficult for an analytical buyer to straight up say no to a visionary dominant seller. They want to say yes. They see the vision. They can grasp onto the future of what their life's going to look like when they buy your product or your service, and they want it really, really bad. So they have the best of intention of following through when they give these verbal commitments, but then when they hang up and they go to do it, they don't, and they have hesitation. All right. So how can you combat this? Well, first of all, if you're experiencing this right now and you have someone that gave you a verbal commitment and then hasn't completed what they said they were going to do and actually sign up or purchase the product, then it's really critical you don't let them off the hook. You have to hold them accountable, and they will appreciate you and they will respect you as long as your follow-up is geared towards them and what they need and not your selfish needs. So make sure that you look back on your call notes, and when you follow up with them, ensure to integrate something that they said in that conversation that makes purchasing your product or service extremely crucial to their success. Now, and after following up, it usually takes anywhere between 2 and 4 follow-ups with a verbal commitment analytical buyer that's ghosted. So don't give up, pace it, but it's really critical that you are not too aggressive because this type of buyer is really turned off by aggressive selling. So there is a balance here of holding them accountable to take the action that they said they are going to, that they need for their business, and also using sleazy sales tactics that are going to totally turn them off and they're no longer going to trust you or want to work with you. So it's absolutely a delicate balance, and just read your email or practice what you're going to say before you call and leave a message or text message. And it's like, is this desperate? Is this pushy? If it is, rewrite it, friends, okay? It is really, really, really critical that you do not come off in that state. All right, so then once you get them back on to Zoom, Teams, call, whatever you're using, maybe you're even in person, it's really critical that you go back and you ask them directly. Say, let's say his name's John. John, last Friday we talked about you signing up. You said you're going to do it by end of day, and today's Wednesday and you haven't done it. So clearly I missed something because you had said you were going to do it. So let's jump back in and really see why you haven't signed up yet. Are you open to that? Usually you're going to get 100% yes and buy-in. And what you will find is that they were bought into the vision. Okay, this is really critical. They were bought into the vision, but not bought into the solution. They were bought into the vision, not the solution. And an analytical buyer needs to buy into the solution. So how do you do that? They want data. They want realistic numbers. They want to see the exact path. They want to see examples and as much detail as possible. Now, some sales coaches out there, some head of sales, revenue, chief sales officers, they'll say, don't get into the details. Well, unfortunately, with an analytical buyer, you have to. And that is okay, as long as you do it in a way that is supportive to their buying decision and you still hold them accountable at the end of the call. So when you get John back onto the phone, okay, and you've gone through, you've given the details, maybe they just wanted to crunch numbers with you. Maybe if you're a service provider that, like, for example, provides ads, maybe they just wanted to see a few more samples and what the success rate looked like. It could be really, really simple things like that. And then remind them why it's so important to start when they said they were going to start. Hold them accountable to their goals and what they said they were going to do. And then hold space. Hold space. Now, depending on what you sell, this may or may not be possible for you, but in the high-ticket coaching world, in professional services, most professional services, this is absolutely possible. If you're selling a SaaS product, this could look like a free trial. At least they're engaging and getting on the platform. But for specifically, I'm going to give an example around coaching. And so typically in coaching programs, consulting services, it's a really quick checkout on a landing page. So once you actually get the second verbal commitment, hold them accountable to doing that. Send them the link in chat or via email, whatever works for the method that you're talking to, and hold space for them. Like, allow them the time to go and check out. Now, you might be thinking like, wow, Michelle, that's extremely awkward to just sit there and wait for them to pay for something. And it's not if you do it right. So I want you to try this. Like, hey, John, I'm going to go ahead and send over the link in the chat, just like we talked. It'll only take you a couple of minutes to finish your purchase and sign the contract that's going to pop up after you put your initial payment in. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ping our account manager and make sure that we can get you onboarded as soon as possible and get priority on his calendar. So I'm working while you're working. And I'll get notification when you're done, and we'll loop back here in just a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to put myself on mute. Super easy. I would say that works about 95% of the time when you're in the scenario that I've just discussed, okay? So that is how you close an analytical buyer after they've ghosted you. Now, the goal for next time is not to get ghosted, right? Now that we've learned this lesson. So how do you not get ghosted? Really, really critical part is if a conversation is going so well and you have an analytical buyer that is like all in, super excited, they give you the verbal commitment, and then your gut as a professional salesperson says, this was too easy. I need you to take a step back, and before you get them off the phone, say, hey, John, I'm so glad that you've committed to joining XYZ program or purchasing XYZ services. And I know said you're going to do the purchase later today, but just before we get off the phone, because it was quite a quick call, is there anything that would hold you back from actually doing that this afternoon? You'll be really surprised and happy when you realize that that is when the objections come back from the analytical buyer. That's when they feel safe to answer the questions, and you can do objection isolation. So what is objection isolation? Objection isolation is to just go one by one through all of their concerns, overcome them, and close them again at the end. And depending on the scenario, I would suggest you don't get off that call and you have them complete the purchase so that you don't have to do all of the follow-up. That is the goal. Now, of course, everything that I've shared today requires a few things to already be in place. You have to be selling that something is freaking awesome, okay? Your product, your service, your coaching program, consulting, this only works with the best products, okay? Number 2 is you have to be great sales, okay? This is an advanced sales training. If you're feeling like, wow, like what's an analytical buyer? I don't even know how to do that kind of follow-up, right? Then I really suggest you jump on to Sunday Sales Delight. I share all different tips and lessons and advice. We give away free programs all the time to really help you in your journey. You can also purchase my high performance sales habits workbook that's available on Amazon to help you hold accountable to improving your sales skills. And the thing about being great at sales is it's a continuous thing that you will always have to study and advance on. No one is ever perfect at sales. And it is critical that just like working out, you don't stop lifting the weights, you don't stop making the calls, you don't stop making the follow-up. And over time, you get better and better and better. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this today. I hope that you like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend who needs to hear this. Till next time.